So this van is a 2020 Ford Transit, high roof, non-extended. We built this entire van out. We have an entire build series. So if you want to build out a van just like this, check out those videos. But anyways, let's get into the tour.
Hi, we're Maddie and Nico, and we are turning this empty cargo van into this tiny home on wheels. We have no building experience, but we'll take you along each step as we transform our 2020 Ford Transit van. When you first come inside the van, we have the cab area right here. Both the driver and passenger side seats are on swivels, so that way they can face this way and we have a nice open living room space. This is our lagoon table mount right here, which can be raised and lowered. This is a good spot for eating dinner, getting work done, hanging out. It's really nice. Underneath the passenger side seat is where our Chinese diesel heater is, so we have nice, hot, toasty, warm air in the wintertime when we're doing skiing and snowboarding van life. We installed this headliner shelf right up here. This is what houses our blackout window shades, our bug screen, tripods, things like that. We added on this nice curtain here recently, so that way when we don't want to fully black out our windows, we don't have to, but we can still have a bit of privacy. On the driver's side, we have this flip-up table here. This way the driver can have a place to put things. You can put a laptop here as well, but this chair is a little bit at an angle, so that way we could maximize our kitchen space right here. Underneath the driver's seat, Nico installed a new sound system. The subwoofer is housed underneath this seat, but let's get on into the kitchen. First up, we have our propane-powered gas range and oven. This is a wonderful thing to have in a van, so that way we can cook pretty much everything that we would normally cook in a house, and we have it right here in the van. This switch turns on our propane, which opens up a solenoid on our propane tank, which we keep underneath. Right here is our propane locker where the 10-pound propane tank is stored. Next to that, we have our trash can right here and our little broom. Moving on, we have our pantry drawer right here. We've got different sauces, we've got spices, lots of different goodies stored in this drawer here. Next to it is our farmhouse style sink. We have both hot and cold water taps connected to this sink. Underneath it is where we store the gray water and collects in this blue bin right below. This is also where we keep a lot of our cleaning supplies, and behind it is where our hot water heater is. It's a ventless propane hot water heater, but we do like to keep this door open when we're doing the dishes just because we think propane appliances should have a bit of ventilation, if you will. Okay, right up above, we have our food storage cubby right there that houses everything that doesn't fit inside the pantry. Next door is where we keep cups and plates and various essentials. And then in this third cabinet, it's kind of a catch-all cabinet. We've got our board games up top. We also have different toiletries and like personal care items in here. And then we have our nice little round mirror right here. This is our WeBoost antenna, which boosts our cell signal if we're in an area that has very little cell service. We have a regular 120 volt outlet right there. We have this is real tile just to have a nice little backsplash in the kitchen. In this top drawer, we keep our silverware and utensils. Down below, this is where we keep pots and pans, some bowls, our cocktail shaker, shout out Stanley, and in our bottom drawer here, we have another big pot. We have our Ninja blender, a bunch of various cups that go with the Ninja, and some Tupperware. Let's move on to the bedroom.
So welcome to the bedroom. This is a purple mattress. It is super comfortable. There are some pros and cons to the purple mattress. It's definitely heavier than your normal foam RV type mattress, and it's definitely taller, but the comfort is beautiful. As you might notice, we do have a lot of throw pillows up here, which honestly are kind of annoying, but they are very purposeful. So each one of these is filled with puffy jackets, flannels, warm stuff that we don't always use, so it's easy to just hide, and instead of putting them up in our closets, we can easily just move them around, take them off the bed. Back here is our switch panel. All of these lights are all controlled right here. They're on a three-way system, so we can switch them off from here, or we can switch them off from this panel that I will show you later. All our lights are dimmable, and these lights right here are some of my favorite parts about the van. I think they just look really cool. We did build out our bed bump outs. I am 6 feet tall. Our bed is about, I think it's 74 inches long. I do tend to sleep on my side, so it is quite comfortable. Moving on from the bed, on the rear walls, we did cover those up with just some wood paneling, so it looks nicer than just the van. So moving on, we have our closet. In here, these two bigger closets are Maddie's. So this is where she stores all of her clothing, and she uses these packing cubes to make it nice and organized and easy to take out instead of individual things. And then we get to my closet. It's very large. I have a lot of clothing. There's not that much in there. I also keep some camera batteries, cords. I even got $1 up here. One of my favorite parts about this whole van is the ceiling. This wood actually came from my backyard at my parents' house. So we milled all this wood. It looks beautiful. I love it. Right here we have our Max air fan. This provides us with plenty of airflow. And when we open these two windows, or bunk windows, we get plenty of ventilation. Over here, we added this little arch. Got a plant. It holds some cute stuff. And here we just have another countertop. This is actually wider than this cabinet over here because underneath is the fridge. So this is a Dometic CRX 110. It holds plenty of food. We can be off grid for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days without running out of food. And that's just fresh food. Underneath the fridge, we have a toe kit cabinet. So we built this little cabinet and it houses cutting boards, pans, and that's pretty much it, just cutting boards and pans. But it's a nice area to store those things because honestly, I don't know where else we would put them. So that's this area. Now we're gonna move up here. This is our control panel for pretty much our whole electrical system. Here we have our battery monitor. It shows us how much solar we're getting, what our batteries are at. So right now we're at 81%, stuff like that. Down below the battery monitor, we have the heater controller. This is for the diesel heater that we mentioned earlier. Here is just a switch, a dimmer switch for these lights. And this is one of the coolest parts about the van. You hear that? It doesn't do anything. We made a mistake while we were wiring and we already cut the hole. We call it the party knob. So if you want to turn up the party, you just crank that knob. So this button right here turns on our Wii Boost, which Maddie mentioned earlier. It boosts our cell signal. And right here, lastly, is our inverter switch. And when you turn this on, we can power our normal 120 volt outlets, which we have all over the van. We wanted more outlets than we needed because that's always nice. So next to the 120 volt outlet is a 12 volt outlet. So we don't have to turn on our inverter and consume more power. We actually have these all over the van. We have some by the bed too. And this bench, it houses our bathroom and shower. So we can easily just lift the cap off, move it over, and the inside of this is totally waterproofed. So we have a shower curtain that hangs up here. I'll show you that in a second. We do have a composting toilet. So when we're in a spot like this, where there's no bathrooms, we can use the toilet. So the toilet itself is a compo closet cuddy. It essentially diverts liquids from solids, and you can stir up the solids, if you know what I mean. The rest of this box we just use for storage. We have some toiletries in here. We store a little vacuum. Yeah, that's the bench. Here is our shower. It is literally just a shower curtain that is suspended by these little hooks that we have eye hooks in the ceiling. So we hook the curtain to those. And fortunately, if there is steam, the fan will suck it out. So we're not too worried about humidity. And to be honest, we have used this twice in 2 years. So that's how much we use this shower. The reason we built the shower like this is because we've seen so many vans with the full-on wall, and Once you have a full wall in a van, it kind of closes off everything, and especially in our van, that's not the extended version. We wanted it to be nice and open, so when this is down, we get that whole view. Anyways, that's why we have the shower like this. But let me show you how this works. We have this extension tube. This is, I think it's a bidet sprayer. So what we do is we just unscrew here, we screw this guy in, and it becomes our shower head. So that's our shower. Like I said, we don't use it very often, but it is there when we need it. So we do have an access point to the back of the van, what we call the garage. You can see we used rattan. We wanted to allow hot air in the wintertime from our heater to flow back here, so our water doesn't freeze, our pipes don't freeze, and our batteries stay warm. Anyways, let me open it up for you. Down below is going to be our pantry shelf. It's just a bin full of our dry goods. We got some alcohol, bubble water, sweatshirt, snow chains, chips, everything. We got everything down there. It's just a nice way to be able to put stuff back here and hide it away so we don't have to look at it.
Now let's show you the garage. There's a lot of chaos back here, and I'm not going to totally unload the van, but I will give you a brief rundown. On this side of the van is where we house our electrical system. It is fully off-grid capable, and we're able to spend multiple days without driving the van. We can charge via the solar, we could charge via the alternator when we drive, and we do have the option to plug in if we need to. We have 2 lithium-ion batteries adding up to 200 amp hours of battery storage. Right here is where Nico has his bike. We have a nice fork mount down here to hold his bike in here, and the wheel just goes right next to it. This shelf is a new addition to the van, and this has really allowed us to have a lot more storage capabilities in the van. Before this, the chaos was even worse, if you can imagine. But basically, here's a box full of shoes. We have an additional camping stove. We have another gray water bin right here. This is our freshwater hose, so that way we could fill up our tank. Speaking of, our freshwater is all located on this side. We have a freshwater tank that goes over the wheel well. It holds 29 gallons of fresh water. We fill it up with this inlet here. This attachment attaches to the end of our hose and it filters our water. We also have another filter underneath our sink. Behind our shoe bin, we have all of our camping and backpacking gear, just in case we ever want to go on a backpacking trip. Right here is our telescoping ladder, and this is how we can get up onto the roof if we have to do anything with our solar panels. It is a good idea to clean those off every once in a while, and this ladder is really nice to have, and it doesn't take up space on the outside of the van, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Right over here is where we keep our laundry basket. It can easily come undone and be used as a backpack if we need to go do our laundry. I love this because we pretty much just toss our clothes at the back of the van, and they sometimes make it in the bag. They really don't, but we put them in there. These are our window covers from Wonderful. The ones on the back doors here, they just stay here, and we just fold them down part way when we want sunlight in the van. On this side of the van, we have this storage thing. This is actually a shoe storage thing. It's not my favorite, but it does hold a lot of useful things, including our shower head, which goes right back here. We do have hot and cold water taps, so if we want to take an outdoor shower, we can do that. The last thing to point out back here in the garage is this little shelf that we added on as an addition. I keep my Kindle up here. I can also keep a hot beverage here, so when I'm sitting in bed and Nico's on the other side of the bed, I have a place to put a drink.
As for the roof, we have 400 watts of solar, a flat-mounted Starlink, the max air fan right in the middle, and then the little antenna sticking up there is the WeBoost. That is the signal booster. All of that is attached to the Flatline Vanco roof rack, and that's pretty much it on the roof.
Thank you so much for watching our van tour. Just to address a couple of the questions that I'm sure everyone has, would we do anything differently about the van build?
In all honesty, there's not much we would do differently. There were a couple mistakes that we made with the cabinetry. Just it overhangs the bed a little bit. That was just our error. So if we could go back in time and like shave off an inch off one cabinet, we might do that. Another thing we might not do is the shower bench. We definitely keep the bench, but I don't think it was worth the time and money spent waterproofing the inside of this box, because like we said earlier, we've used it twice. Is there anything you would change?
No, pretty much same thing. We would leave out the shower bench. We are able to take showers at Planet Fitness enough that we don't use this one inside the van. And then when we haven't had a Planet Fitness, we've just been able to use the shower off the back of the van. So, in conclusion, wouldn't put the shower in the van in the future, but we are fine with it being there because it doesn't really do anything bad for the van.
I would have liked to have all-wheel drive, but honestly, it hasn't even been that bad. We've taken it through from California to Colorado skiing all winter and never got stuck, never had a problem there.
We've also brought the van all the way down to Baja, Mexico, and while we did get stuck in the sand once or twice, we were always able to recover the van ourselves.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think where we were, all-wheel drive would have saved that situation anyways.
Thanks so much for watching our van tour. If you have any questions about our van build, be sure to leave a comment down below. Make sure you are subscribed to our channel. We do have a lot more, in my opinion, some very exciting videos coming out. Most of those will follow our adventures around the western United States. We've been down to Baja in the van. We are planning on going up to Alaska with the van. So stay tuned for some videos from our travels.
Yeah, if you want to actually see how we live in the van, stay tuned, hit the subscribe button. Don't smash it.
Be gentle with the subscribe button.
Yeah, be very gentle.
Lightly tap that subscribe.
And lastly, before we sign off, I'm sure everybody's wondering what kind of gas mileage we get in this thing. We get about 16 to 17 miles to the gallon, and that's the end of the video.
Goodbye.